here we go. Starting off on Sanctum. We will see Orisa and Widow, the dominant strategies, even in Season 1 here. Or XC has shined, but he will have to face off against Climax. However, so far, okay, I was going to say they are teasing that they might run something different. The Pharah Widow is certainly a possibility, and they are going to run the D.Va, so a lot more mobility here on the side of O2 Ardeont. And
we'll swap it, though. We'll see Rain going over for the Mercy, so no more Lucio.
Speaking of comfort picks, Guard will start the Sombra, and this is real. He's going to use this, hide this, look for a hack. Does not complete the hack, unfortunately.
Yeah, the bubble's going to be coming down. Violet finds the hit there onto Pokepo. Takes him out. Humbaba out of that mech, however. XC comes up with a kill. Ivy has to dash his way back as he gets tagged up. Keeps himself alive here for the moment as XC tries to get the shot lined up onto Violet. Climax as well, just going to be sniping from the side.
The tank war is won by O2 Ardeont. They should take this opportunity to leap onto the point. Dako's D-Mech, this is their opportunity to just lock this in, the first cap. They do jump onto it.
They have the barrier thrown down though. Pokemon now pushing into the side room with the Discord Orb, just chews him apart. They'll go down, Violet finding that shot.
Still no capture though.
Yeah, they still haven't pushed forward onto the cap, but now they see the retreat coming in. Ivy letting them know, like, yeah, everybody's gone and Repel is dead, so let's go ahead and get that cap coming through, so O2 Ardeont will be starting things off.
Ivy, the Junkrat, Pharah, Genji, Brigitte player.
Basically name it.
Tracer as well. You know, he's just so good at all of them. So terrifying to face.
EMP ready to go. Guard gonna throw this one down. He's gonna get shredded down 1 HP, but manages to stay alive. But no kills here for the side of Element Mystic off the backside of that ultimate. The Violet uses the Transcendence, manages to keep everybody topped up, and Ivy comes in with a kill, gets rid of the Sombra, and now Pokepo is dead. Repel using his own Transcendence.
You know,
now
I mean,
he's gonna be under fire.
Feels like Season 1 again. Violet having the Transcendence ready for EMP, just like he did in those ending matches against Guard, and just like he did against BQB's EMPs in the Grand Finals. Violet just has to go back to an older time in his brain to play around this, and there he does, saving Ivy despite the secondary hack coming onto him there. He couldn't use the barrage. He's gonna look for the support.
Drops it in. That's gonna be Repel going down the defense matrix. It's not possible. Possibly fast enough. Ivy will kill himself with the explosions, but not before he takes Dako out of that mech. Now everybody else on Element Mystic going to be dropping like flies, and Ivy is rezzed back in. They're chasing down onto XE, looking for that stagger, but will not be able to find it.
Guard's failure to adapt, you know, into this meta is one of the big tragedies of Element Mystic, perhaps more tragic than Sparkle's absence. He's just really struggling, and even running Sombra here against one of the best Zenyatta's, might be the best Zenyatta we've seen so far in this league. Just not going to come up big. He's switched to the Tracer now, which he has been improving. Climax just absorbing so much of this aggro, meaning that Ivy gets the backline.
Yakfeng, Primal Rage, Pop can get the smack off the side there, but now has Repel in the corner. Should be able to finish him off. Self-destruct comes out from Dako, but he's not going to find anything. He'll get taken down. Pokepo falls as well, right as his Primal Rage becomes available. And honestly, will they even tag this point? The answer's going to be no. O2 Ardeont 100-0 start us off on Sanctum.
Very dominant performance. You know, and I can't even give a thumbs up to the creativity from Element Mystic. They ran the Sombra on Sanctum of all maps and just failed to make the EMP worth it. And they spent so much time doing that. Then they were trying to dive and punish Climax, which left their supports open to the attacks from the Pharah. So really good capitalization here of O2 Ardeont on that moment where all the tank's mobility options were used to kill a Widow who survived using grapple and left the supports high and dry. And we'll yet again see Climax and Ivy on the Widow and Pharah respectively. Guard is going to be showing this Tracer. Still no confidence to run the Pharah, and that's a problem in this meta. You need to be able to flex into that, and because Guard just simply has not been able to, like Ivy has been able to so quickly adapt to this meta, Element Mystic falls behind here compositionally right out the gates.
Very costly for them. XE looking for the shot there on a Rain, not going to be able to find it. Gets a body tag onto Ivy. Baba went dangerously low, but actually managed to stay in the mech that entire time. Ivy yet again getting tagged up. Guard into the back, trying to deal with Climax. Takes him to about half HP, jumps back in. It seems like he will be able to make
Remember,
it out
Guard's
safely,
not,
but Element Missing do get on the board at least.
Yeah, Guard's not even a Tracer player by trade, so this is one of his more flexible picks over the Pharah, but even then you can see he's not getting the one clips we saw earlier from Order, Godspeed, etc. Huxal, they do control the point though, and this is going to make it a lot easier to shut down Ivy's Pharah, because they have line of sight advantage. Pharah will have to reveal herself to approach the point, and XC is a great Widow, and when given an advantage like this, R2 Ardeont has to change up their playstyle. They're going to group together on the right side. Guard's trying to find the supports in the back. Good
Wraps
pulse.
around, throws that one down. That's going to be Violet falling. No Transcendence available in Rain. Took the disguise for the Valkyrie to keep himself alive. Elven Mystic pour forward, looking for as many staggers as they can possibly get. Humbaba going to get knocked out of that mech. And with 94% ult charge, he's just going to have to jump off the side of the map you would expect, charging forward at the moment, saying, hey, come kill me, or at least let me shoot you until I get back in. But
that was such an intelligent play by Guard, because he knew that he saw the approach on the left side from his perspective, of course, right side approach for O2 Ardeont, and he knew that the tanks were leading there to defense matrix, all the DPS coming through, and also the rockets coming through from Ivy. So he comes in the back, knows the supports are exposed, the tanks are not there to peel, so he flips all the way around. Even though he's maybe not the most accurate Tracer, the decision making is correct, and he comes up with that pulse bomb kill, holding this at 70% now.
Let's dive in, coming through. Yakpunk gonna get rid of Exi. Still gonna be plenty of ultimates to work with here though for the side of Element Mystic to maintain control of the point, including that Transcendence there from Repel. Rez comes in, Exi pushing Exi back in, right, and he takes out Ivy, self-destruct from Dako, gets rid of Climax, and Exi just gets rid of Yakpunk straight into the face. That final shot. Do we just have 100-0 into 100-0 back and forth?
Looks like it. I mean, Yakpung held his primal because he knew that the rest of his team was already dead. He's going to have that to contest now at least. They've got one more shot at this.
Ardeont coming back in. Humbaba going to get pushed off the point for now. Ivy has the barrage ready to go. Gets a tag into the backside of Dako's mech, but cannot take him out. Climax and Rain and Violet all going down. No supports available for the side of O2 Ardeont. Ivy, sliver of HP, barely manages to stay alive as he gets the health pack. Comes back in, gets taken out. Exi finds the kill. And O2 Ardeont struggling to try to get this flip. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to do it. Element Mystic fire back. 100-0 in response. And everything now going to have to be settled on Village.
Now this is going to be great for Element Mystic, because Village is the map where Pharah Widow, I think, struggles the most to dominate. It's still very viable, it's still very meta, and we see it most of the time. You see the pressure is real on the side of Element Mystic now. But this is a map where if they're going to continue to put Guard on the Tracer, I think he can do a lot. You're going to be fighting on a very small area. Tracer can flank, can harass. And because Tracer has recall, you can go very deep onto this choke and then recall. You can do consistent damage more than a Pharah can. As far as consistent damage in a more burst sense, but Tracer can threaten not only the tanks but also the supports in a way that Pharah cannot if she does not have line of sight to get those rockets through. And if you lose control of the point first, everyone can kind of just stay inside and avoid those Pharah rockets. So this is a good situation for Element Mystic.
Yeah, especially that opening pickoff coming through. Ivy yet again going to be trying to stick with the Pharah, but Exi's been answering him.
Yeah, and with the first death, they may even want to consider a swap.
I think maybe just try to go for the McCree in this situation. At least then you can try to flashbang headshot Guard, or even just right-click into his chest and finish him off. Exi over the top looking for another shot. Going to miss that one, but Element Mystic looks to get the first cap. Will be able to do so.
Notice Ivy has almost no ult charge. I think he's hit 2 rockets this game. The rest is just base charge.
Yeah.
From time.
Oh, he got another one! He got another one!
Okay, he's hitting a few of those, but they get Pokebo with the Violet left click as well.
Yeah, Violet taking him down. That's going to force a rise out from Jexay. Climax on the Widow, gets rid of Exi. Good answering coming through, but Dako chasing forward. Eliminates Rain, now no res. Pulse Bomb comes through, but the defense matrix is there from Humbaba to deny it, but it doesn't matter because Guard can follow up. Takes down Yakpung all the same, and Humbaba goes down. No tanks available for O2. Violet is going to be holding on to that Transcendence.
They can be so glad that XC is so dominant on this Widow, because that's why they're able to get everyone low health as they approach, with Repel discording every single target, mostly Yakpung and Humbaba. And then they have the more mobile composition. Guard and Pokebo and Dako can chase them over to the side there and destroy them on the edge, with those Discord orbs continuing to come through. And this is just a repeated process where Ivy again is just struggling to actually find damage. That's a nice pickoff.
Yeah, an odd look, but XC's making a nice pickoff. Guard goes down to the poison trap, but Exy finds Rain mid-flight.
He just continues to flank on this Widow, finding different angles.
Oh boy, and now, yeah, Violet used the Transcendence here. Trying to get onto this push, but without the Mercy, without that res available, they just have to kite back, so now lose out onto that support ultimate. Exy gets jumped on, takes down Ivy, still manages to stay alive. Self-destruct that from Humbaba, gets rid of Poke. Primal Rage used by him, and now going to be answered by Yakpunk. He dives in, looking for a corner on a repel, forces out the Transcendence from the side of Element Mystic as he tried to maintain control over the point. Keeps everybody up, pulse bomb in from Guard, takes down Humbaba as he pops out of that mech. Element Mystic not backing down. Dako goes low, gets back into the mech, however. Able to stay alive, and do we just see 100-0 to finish this one? 3 straight, but bouncing back and forth. Element Mystic to close it out? Seems highly unlikely, but they're going for it.
They're just really controlling this point. It's the better point for the Tracer, and the Pharah pick has been totally worthless. Here's the Barrage, finally!
Yeah, into overtime, he gets rid of Jexley, but just everyone turns around, they just take down Ivy. Violet's still going to be dead. O2 Ardeont getting bled out. Climax, the only one really nearby to try to get the tag in. He'll just get Goomba stomped. A double, 100-0 comes through, and Element Mystic close out Nepal despite the very lackluster start.
Ivy, you know, he's got a flexible hero pool, right? And the Pharah is a great starting hero. If you control the point first against a Tracer, then it becomes so difficult for Element Mystic to retake. However, because they never were able to get control of the point, he wasn't able to get much rocket damage done. He was being gate-capped by XC, who had line of sight and continued to flank. And Repel was one of the biggest stories of the defense of Element Mystic of that point, because he was able to discord targets. We saw so many times when Yakpung went in for the dive, he was dead super fast or had to jump away, barely surviving with almost no health, because Repel hit the discords and was also hitting so many left clicks, which even further threatened the Pharah. So the Guard Tracer pick works well to defend this point. They never lose it for a second, so he doesn't have to go to that flexibility on the Pharah. You mentioned the McCree. It might have been a good option to deal with the Pharah, but Ivy's a projectile player for the most part. That's, of course, changing very quickly, where he has to play the Tracer, he has to play the Brigitte in this meta, but, you know, perhaps that's one of the heroes that's not really in his toolbox, and a little bit less meta, of course. It would more commonly be Climax making that switch, and we'd see if, you know, maybe he keeps the Pharah McCree. We've seen it once or twice. But yeah, Element Mystic with the Tracer, with the consistent damage, that output there, and also the fantastic accuracy of Repel. There was just no way to get in there. The barrage was way too late. It built so slowly, and then when they finally used it, they got the Mercy, I think, only. I think he was just instantly dead, so.
I mean, a very rough start. I mean, it was a good start, actually, to Nepal, and then a very rough start in the end for the first map as Element Mystic fire back 100-0, 100-0, all the way across the board, but they get the win. Still, even if Element Mystic goes up, they go to match point, they still have to have that concern in the back of their head. What if we get reverse swept again? That's always going to be preying on their minds, and that can distract you. That can become an issue as you try to focus on the game, because you have this creeping dread in the back of your head. But we'll see if they can stay focused throughout, and we'll see what O2 Ardeont is going to take us to for their map selection on Hybrid. What are we anticipating?
I mean, I think similar story to what we were talking about in the previous series. You want to go to a map that plays to Ivy's strengths, the Junkrat and the Genji, where you know that they do not have a Genji main, so should we say, on their side. We did see the Anubis Genji out of Guard, and that was the map choice that we saw the Foxes take to Element Mystic. That could be an option again. I think anything is viable except the King's Row.
Hello?
Okay, we got more circuits working
all
here.
Right. That's pretty neat.
Okay, all right. So it's like, oh, it's so bright, it hurts my eyes. Beat is the word for light in Korea, so basically just saying he's kind of like the shining light of the squad, XC. As we get a Dako sign here. Got the Element Mystic foam case for the selfie on this play of the game.
I don't know if they actually sell those. I wonder. I wouldn't be surprised.
They're probably working on it if they don't. They've got a lot of fan merch available.
Or if they weren't working on it, now they will be. Feeling inspired, but oh.
O2 Ardeont at the.
Yep.
It says take my money. It's the shut up and take my money meme.
That's her actual bank book on the side.
Yeah, and a bunch
I thought it was a passport, but now it's a bank book.
$1 bills and 10-cent coins on the sign as well, but you know, just take my money. I like it. I didn't know the Koreans knew that that image.
Memes they go across all languages.
Culture, yeah, language.
I mean, the Koreans say C9. You know, they go across the different languages. We've got semi-functional tears coming in made out of tissue paper.
Yeah.
The creativity here today.
Another O2 sign here.
Yeah, but it doesn't light up or move, so it's boring. I'm just kidding.
The Ivy fan here. So are we going to the trophy? That's what it asks. All right, so
that's what they would like.
Again, I think any map but King's Row is viable for O2 Ardeont, with the most ideal maps being the Hollywood and the Numbani. If you want to play around Ivy's strengths, if you want to play around Climax's strengths, the Blizzard World is a decent option. The King's Row is okay, but you're then going around Ella Mystic's tank lineups that are very strong, and then they don't have to worry as much about the flexibility for guard. So let's see. Eichenwald.
Okay.
So another map that's Genji favorite and Pharah favorite as well. We know that that's what they're really running mostly with Ivy today.
Seems like, yeah, they might just want to be sticking with that Pharah. We saw him really try to shoehorn it in there on Village. Didn't work out, but Eichenwald on just about any point other than maybe C is where it kind of gets a little bit rough. They're trying to run that Pharah, and then we can just always see a Genji swap come through. So O2 Ardeont will be bringing this out. It's maybe the third time that we've seen Eichenwald so far this season. It hasn't been the most popular hybrid map that we've had. But O2 Ardeont looking to tie things up, give us an actual series. They saw that 4-0 in the first match. They don't want it to happen here.
This is also a map we see a lot of McCree on. So could see Xi go to that. Looks like based on heroes we see on screen, he is locking that in for now. So the McCree Tracer, very popular, popularized mostly by Runaway on this map's defense. In terms of map record for Eichenwald, since it's one of our less popular ones, O2 Ardeont's 1-0, and El Mystic is 2-0. So both teams find themselves with a small pool of games played, but with an undefeated record. From the start of things, we will see the Widow Pharah, and this is what McCree is great at dealing with, as long as he's in the building, and they have to use their tanks to jump onto him. You obviously don't have the ability to instantly kill a Widow with kill the Pharah with your Widow, but you can deal with the tanks if you're positioned correctly. So notice how difficult it is right now for them to actually find any heroes to hit, because everyone on Element Mystic is already hiding. They've already spotted this cop out. XC is just going to hide in this house, and then Pharah can't really do much. You need your tanks to support that.
Of course, the recall there from Guard. Nice shot coming through from Ivy. Does take him low. Now it's going to be Element Mystic starting to push out in onto the point. Try to give XC line of sight on this Pharah to take him down. Trying to get sagged up a couple times. The pocket's going to be here from Rain, keeping him sustained.
Here come the tanks.
Dive over towards the point. Yakpung getting burned down. Guard finds Violet. That's going to be the Winston falling as well. Climax does find a nice point-blank shot there onto the enemy Tracer, but the damage is done. O2 Ardeont just losing way too many members of their team. Have to peel back and reset.
They have to make a tough choice now. Do they stay with this composition, or do they run the Genji that Ivy is so great at? That would give them a little bit more of a streamlined dive that can break through and kill the McCree, who's been, basically protected by Jexay, boosted by Jexay. He's got a Deadeye, which makes this Pharah so much more difficult to utilize. Looks like they want to stick with the Pharah comp, but they haven't been able to find almost anything with it just yet, because Xyz's positioning and pocketing is so good. Here's the Transcendence to lead the tanks in to try to dive deep.
False bomb there, trying to get the stick on a Climax, unable to find it, but now it's going to be a Primal Rage coming through. He's going to grapple back in onto the map. Popo diving forward, just trying to isolate somebody here so that they can get the kill, but Yakpung actually goes in, finds a kill on the XC. Repel goes down, the res is going to be used by Jexay to bring the McCree back into the fight. Self-destruct up from Dako. Not going to find any picks, another barrage coming down from Ivy, finds the kill onto Jexay, gets rid of the Vivi Eva. They'll get traded back, Popo finding the kill, but that's going to be point A, going over to O2 Ardeont.
And once again, it's Violet's Transcendence to lead the charge that allows Yakpung to get into position. Then he's able to Primal Rage, of course, but that empowered the tank dive, which got them to a spot where they could actually further threaten the McCree, which then allowed, of course, the barrage to go off for Ivy in the end. I'm going to stick with the composition. This is where it's even stronger, of course, in this very open area. And this, of course, will force the switch of XC over to the Widowmaker, because he also similarly has the same amount of open area to find the Pharah and take her out. Thus far has not been successful, but
Res coming in
to roll.
XC loses his life for that one. Just to bring Popo through, but yeah, he's too far forward now. Gets taken down yet again. Knockout on the mech there for Dako. No tanks available for Element Mystic. Jexay just now respawning. O2 Ardeont should get a very strong push. A lot of distance out of this here.
Total dominance right now. XC just unable to do anything on this Widow. 37% of an Inversight compared to Climax's 93. And if you can't even leave this area, you can't even get onto the drawbridge, what's the Widow pick for? You know, it just feels worthless at this point.
That's going to be a lot of pressure down. Honor of Hell goes low. Pops that Transcendence and cannot keep Jexay alive. Yakupong able to finish him off. XC wins a Widow battle in the meantime, but see, the card's actually not moving at the moment. All of O2 Ardeont. Pretty far back. Cold Pump comes in. Actually doesn't find the finish. Baba's staying alive. The pocket here from Rain with the Valkyrie up in the sky manages to keep him up. And all they're going to get is to pop out onto the mech, and then Climax yet again, another very close range shot, takes down guard.
Dako gets the remech too, and he's living. He's not getting demeched once more, so a close, near pick for guard does not actually get him what he wants.
Yep. Baba will fall. Bell finding that kill. Popo uses the primal rage. Bell comes up with another one. Climax going down, and XC gets rid of Ivy. So finally, Element Mystic giving themselves some room to breathe with some nice staggers coming in at the end. So they take down Violet. Popo should be able to exit safely. He's got the defense matrix here from Dako to escort him out.
Despite the fact that guard wasn't able to get that Humbaba pick, you know, he opened this up. He forced the tanks to come back for O2 Ardeont, forced the reset of the attack, which kind of opened up everything there, allowed their heroes to spill out of onto the drawbridge, give XC line of sight. They're going to dive deep again. I don't know if they should be going this deep, but guard thinks otherwise, almost gets the Widow pick.
He was way too low, had already been chunked down to about half HP after that headshot from Climax. Now Repel falls as well. Climax looking for another shot, would love to get rid of Jexay, is able to do so, tags him in the back.
They found success with that last push because of what it forced. It forced the tanks to go back, but this time all the tanks were in position, so they did the same thing, but the decision-making of that attack was not correct compared to the last one. So, you know, I think guard is the one who's making the right choices, but the tank line of Element Mystic, I think, is getting a little bit trigger-happy here. Either way, they still buy time. O2 Ardeont has the old advantage, and the Inversight active now.
Hell, going low, believe he pops that Transcendence. Jexay taken down by the Pulse Bomb. Ivy follows up with another kill in onto XC. Struck up. Dako not going to find anything. Gets it back into the mech, but everybody else on his team is dead. So it's just going to be a matter of time. They will be able to burn down that mech very rapidly. Under a minute here for the finish, it looks like, for O2 Ardeont to roll this through across the bridge. They can try for maybe one more defense, but no. Oh, yep, they will. Okay, couldn't see the angle.
Popo should
does
go
through. He's looking for it. Yep, gets it, pops it immediately. Actually takes down Climax, alleviating some of that pressure into the back line. And Repel takes down Ivy, winning that battle. As that Tracer pushes straight up into his face, gets the shield back, trying to stay alive. Jexay is dead. He's going to be the solo healer here at the moment. Element Mystic, can they actually hold this off? 1.05
I mean, it looks like they very well may.
Go. 20 seconds on the clock. O2 Ardeont will be able to tag this back in, you would expect.
Yeah, but Yakupong does not have Primal. They do not have a self-destruct. They don't have any tools except the Transcendence to force their way onto the point. Guard is already jumping into the backline, threatening the Widow, threatening the supports.
He needs a big pulse bomb if they want to stop this out. Violet has a Transcendence. He can use it to escort everybody in onto the point.
Ivy's down.
Ivy's gonna die. Yep, Ivy's gonna die. Pulse bomb available here. Guard waiting for it. Tosses it in. Finds a stick. Gets rid of Rain. Now no res in the fight. Violet. The Transcendence is going to expire. Humbaba dead. Violet out of the fight. No supports here for O2 Ardeont. Humbaba. Yakupong going down. Ivy Climax the only ones alive, but they're not gonna be there in time. And Element Mystic actually managed to stop this cart from pushing just in front of B.
I feel like Guard has shown us so many different moments throughout these two maps already that he understands when he can go to the backline, threaten a Widow, threaten these supports. He's got such good awareness spatially, and as a former Sombra player, you have to have that because you're trying to set up these EMPs. You have to understand where every health pack is at any moment, where you're trying to hack, and you, as a Sombra, you know, in the Sombra meta, you're always trying to kill the support, so you do have to kind of understand when the tanks go aggressively, where's your angle, the translocator, over the wall, get back there onto the Zenyatta, onto the Mercy. And in this game, every time O2 Ardeont step forward with their tanks to try to get onto the drawbridge and complete the push. The supports obviously could not follow. Zenyatta can't jump over a wall like a D.Va, like a Winston can. Like, does not have the grapple ability that a Widow has. So sometimes when we see the high ground being contested by O2 Ardeont, Guard is able to triple blink around, go through the castle, and find those supports. Several times that forced the tanks back, that bought further time. The payload was so far forward, obviously they had a long distance to cover, and each and every time they tried to make that happen, Guard was there to punish. And again, mechanically, there were a lot of better Tracer players than Guard in this tournament in Contenders Korea. But the decision-making that we're seeing and his awareness, especially of where everyone is at any moment in time and where he can find these holes in the support line, even if he doesn't kill the supports, and the tanks have to go back, that's still a win.
Yeah.
And he is killing the supports multiple times. It's just that, you know, I want to talk about him not as a mechanical player, but as an intelligent player, as a player who's very map aware. And that's something that's very important as a Tracer.
Yeah, but you can see how a lot of that actually just translates over from being a Sombra player. It's the same exact thing. You need to know how to get into the back line, especially onto the Zenyatas, to drop down those EMPs. You need to know where everyone is playing so you can catch the maximum amount of your opponents in that ultimate. So does work around very well into the Tracer here for Guard, even if, you know, the one clips aren't coming through as reliably as a lot of other Tracers. But now Element Mystic here on the attack. Exi yet again going for the McCree.
Yeah.
Taking a couple shots, needs to get line of sight in onto Ivy, tags him once. Otherwise he's going to be fine. Guard into the back yet again, but Popo's going to go down up the front.
Threatening a lot, this back line, but not getting the picks. Violet comes up with a kill here. Onto Guard as he tries to get that kill, and that's going to be the reset here of this push. The McCree attack comes up a little bit short here oftentimes because the Pharah can hide around this church, this building here that's just to the left of Ivy, and the building to the right of the, you know, just the light of sight of Ivy. You know, she goes lower, the Pharah goes low enough to where the McCree can't hit, and if it's up high, can go behind the church. So there's a lot of different ways you could avoid the McCree shots while taking pot shots. As you can see, just go behind this building, McCree can't do anything to you, then the tanks can dive in if you overextend. You do need to get, of course, the hits off onto the McCree to make this worth it, though. And so far, XC is able to sneak around the side. Barrage is available.
XC's going to go down. Climax finds the shot. Baba going low, but manages to stay alive. Jexy brings the McCree back in. Climax dropping off the high ground. Popo going to die from that dive through. Violet pops the Transcendence. Rain with the Valkyrie ready to go. Repel with his own Transcendence, but looks like just going to be holding it here for the moment since both tanks went down. Mystic still going to be held at bay, and a nice delay there on the Jexy. They take him out.
He's going to have the ultimate available. He's going to have the Deadeye. For some reason, that name was escaping me. But in order to get into position to use it, he's either going to need a diversion from Popo and Dako and Guard, or he's going to just have to slowly force his way in, which leaves him vulnerable, of course, to barrages.
Oh, Guard trying to sneak up, but you can see Climax just very quickly gets that body tag in onto Guard. Takes him low and forces him back. Deadeye going to be drawn out by XC, looking for something, but he just can't find anybody. Everyone is kiting away.
And they committed the Transcendence as well, so huge ultimate usage here for Element Mystic for no value. Yeah. Dako's losing this fight.
Transcendence down. Dako going to get popped out of the mech. Now the barrage might be able to come through. Dako uses the self-destruct, however, gets back into the mech and Popo takes down Violet. Climax rejoining over onto the point, looking for a shot onto the Mercy.
No threat.
Goes low. Primal Rage out from Yakpung as he dives forward. Actually finally finds Ivy, but Climax gets Jexy. There's no supports here for Element Mystic as they struggle to get in onto the point. Another shot as he gets up onto the high ground. Guard goes down at Element Mystic. They had a great defense on the bridge, but now they might not even be able to finish this push onto A.
There was so much miscommunication about how that Deadeye was going to work. They even committed the Transcendence, but late, so those two ultimates were gone. The tanks lost the war because Violet has his. He's up to 80% of another one, and they fall like dominoes as they try to approach because Climax had full line of sight once both the tanks were gone, once Dako was demech'd, and there's just no way to break that. XC's going to have another Deadeye, but it's going to be, again, difficult to get into position to use it.
Climax ready to go. We're spotting him out. Guard goes into the back. Gets a lot of shots onto Hababa.
Here's the angle.
Pop out there onto the mech, so no defense matrix to deny it away. A smattering of damage there from XC, but not going to be finding too many kills. Jexy goes down. Repel still alive. Nearly has a Transcendence, but XC now fires back. Gets rid of that Pharah. Gets rid of Rain. The team on his back and helping to escort them in onto the point. One final tap takes down Yakpung. Element Mystic finally break the defenses of O2 Ardeont. They get this cap onto A, but with a much more limited time bank than they would have liked.
Oh, definitely a pretty pitiful time bank here, but because they only have to push it just to the edge of B here to win the map. They're going to feel decent about it. XC's going to make the switch to the Widow, of course, and they're going to try to control line of sight here against the Pharah once more. Getting that opening pick on the Climax is a great start. Forcing so much with this guard Tracer. Again, it's just how deep he goes and where he's finding these angles that makes it so frustrating.
Oh, Ivy in the back, but there's a Discord Orb.
Yeah,
Daco runs him down right out of the sky.
That was pretty aggressive. Pharah doesn't have a recall button, as it turns out.
Nope. She just goes up.
And then down.
And then up again.
XC,
unless she's dead. Then she just stays dead.
He has full line of sight on the drawbridge, but does not see where Climax is. Going to force a res.
Yep. XC just going to bring him back in. Climax just peeking out the window here on the door. Every shot finds one there on a poke.
O2 Ardeont needs to be ult efficient here. Ivy's going to make the switch to the Tracer. A rare pick for him. But he's looked better on it than Guard has this season thus far.
Well, Guard going to find a kill there on a Violet. Maybe speaking a little bit too soon for either of us. Self-destruct out, Daco back into the mech. Baba now using his own, but it's on the low ground, so not really going for the big kills. Just going to be going for getting back into the mech, but now Yakpung's dead, as is Rain, so he might just get knocked out yet again while losing that ultimate. It seems like that's exactly going to be the case. Element Mystic, they have a Transcendence. Jexay, use the Valkyrie. And Foresight coming through a little bit further, and they're going to move up 2-0 here in this series. Still over a minute left. They dive in to try to get the hull. 3.2 left on this push, and it's going to be Violet going down off the bat. Pulse Bomb comes in, and Rain gets forced to use the res already. Now doesn't have it for the Winston. Climax takes down Guard yet again. Humbaba in onto the cart, trying to keep this one in contention. The self-destruct comes down. Transcendence in from Repel, keeping everybody alive, and XP finds another headshot, taking down Climax. Looking for the Mercy. He'll get pushed to the side, and Rain will get taken down. Pokebo zapping him to death yet again. Humbaba out of the mech, shredded down.
That's
no tanks
it.
Available. That's going to be it. Element Mystic moving up 2-0 in this series. Match point coming through. The last time they were in this position, it was a reverse sweep. O2 Ardeont still couldn't force that. They still could force a tiebreaker on Achilios.
No one's going to feel comfortable in the booth until that victory screen comes up on Assault. No one is going to feel like this is in the bag until that moment when that pops up on screen. But historically, the worst map type for Element Mystic as well. But the difference in the Tracer play, I think, was what caused that to be such a free push for Element Mystic there in the end. Ivy switched the Tracer, but his Tracer style is so different. He's looking for consistent damage. He's looking for winning the tank war, as what we saw there when he made that switch. He was shooting at the D.Va and he was shooting at the Winston, but that they gave XC high ground control, whereas Guard was unwilling to give that to Climax, was unwilling to allow the supports to come through. He never left-click the tanks. He never tried to trade out on the tanks. When he played the Tracer on drawbridge, he went into the back line, he threatened the Widow and the supports, and that was the difference there. Ivy may be a more consistent Tracer in terms of how much DPS he can put off in an extended fight, but in terms of what they needed from the Tracer, they did not need to win the tank fight. They did not need to have him shooting at Winston and D.Va, and Guard was able to play the better Tracer and win that map for them.
Yeah, and actually going back over to the Widowmaker after the really rough start with the McCree, because consistently lining up those headshots and helping to pick them off at a distance. So really good stuff.
I don't know what's going on with my hair today, by the way. Like, it's out there.
We got a fan that's blowing on the other side, so it just kind of pushes it the opposite way. But, I mean, 2-0 coming through so far. One more win for Element Mystic, and they take the series. Will we just see the turnaround 4-0s for both of our teams that lost in Season 1?
Could be. You know, Element Mystic looking dominant right now, and another thing to point out is O2 just seems so hell-bent on this Pharah.
Yeah.
And they're playing it on situations where they don't have enough of an advantage to where the Pharah can even take shots at XC. So XC is just having a great time. Guard is punishing the tank play of O2 Ardeont with the Tracer. And Element Mystic is clearly working towards adapting and moving into a situation where Guard can carry on the Tracer. All
right, well, maybe just a really fast day here, guys. Already halfway through our second series. We're going to go to a quick break. Words are tough. Going to go to a quick break. We'll be back in a few. Don't go anywhere.